So today I'm going to be sharing with you a spices slash sauces, condiments collection. Okay, these are the spices and things that I use. So I shared with you my pantry staples. So this time I'm sharing with you what seasonings that I really like to use on my food. Obviously these are all optional. I have a lot, but I have kind of found what I use the most, and I'll go over those with you as well. So we have no makeup today. I literally could not be bothered. There's a cat. I could not be bothered to put on makeup, so I'm just getting the raw natural. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of far away too, but that's fine. What else did I have to say? No, I think that's it. Yeah. So this video is going to be in depth. It's going to be a little lengthy, but bear with me. It's worth it. I'm going to show you how I organize my spices. It's going to be a full thing. Yeah, so let me stop rambling. Let's get into it. Okay, so this video is going to be long because I am showing you pretty much all of my spices and seasonings and things like that. So we're going to start with what I would call like seasoning, sauce flavoring kind of things. So first up, we have our Asian category, and this is what I use the most of. So I have miso paste. I put this in broths, ramens, soups, stews. You can also make dressings with this. This is just the one I bought this time. I usually buy organic if I can. This one's non-GMO, and you can buy these at your local grocery store now, I think, but I buy mine at the Asian market. That's just my choice. Next thing are curry paste. Now I have several, and I will link the brand that you will probably find in like your local Walmart or Publix or something like that, or grocery store, and it's the Thai Red Kitchen. But this is the brand that I use, again from the Asian market. I have the Massaman red and green curry. Red curry is my favorite, green is the next. Massaman I don't really like as much. Make sure when you are getting yours though that you read the ingredients label, because a lot of these will contain shrimp. And I do have a curry recipe here on my channel. You can use any of these for that recipe. And I usually use coconut milk. I'm out of coconut milk to show you, and that's not really seasoning, but anyway. Next up we have gochujang. Gochujang is a Korean red pepper paste. As you can imagine, it's pretty spicy. This will last forever, I feel like. This is good to just increase the spice level. And that's the paste version. This is the powder version. This is called gochujang, and it is Korean red pepper flakes. So same thing, just depends on how you want to use them to make things spicy. I prefer these to your traditional like red pepper flakes and things like that, especially in a soup or a stew. Some people will use these kind of things interchangeably. I prefer soy sauce myself. I do not buy low sodium soy sauce because it's just watered down soy sauce. So I just add water to it at home. I keep it in a different container in the fridge, but I have this one to show you guys. And then coconut aminos are a little bit thicker, sweeter, less salty. So you can use this a little bit more versatile. It's a little bit more versatile, I would say, in cooking. It's, again, just a little bit sweeter, a little less strong in my opinion, and good to use in sauces and dressings. Soy sauce is what I saute a lot of things in. I love soy sauce so much. And then, of course, we have sriracha. And I use several different hot sauces. I use Cholula. Cholula is my favorite hot sauce of all time. Can't tell you how many bottles I've gone through. I really, really like this stuff. And it's relatively mild. And two more, I guess you could say, Asian sauces are these. This is Yanju. It is always linked in the description box of my videos. I get asked about it a lot, so I just leave it linked there for you guys. This is an all-purpose umami seasoning. So what that means is it's really good in like broth, soups, things like that, just to add a little bit more of a punch. You can compare it to like maybe a mushroomy kind of flavor, but it's really concentrated, so you just need a little bit. And then hoisin sauce. Hoisin sauce is really thick, kind of sweet and syrupy. This again is good. You can make dressings and sauces with it. I put it just a little bit in my ramen. You can use it to make like a dip for spring rolls or pot stickers. Again, this one can also tend to contain shrimp or fish sauce. So check the ingredients before you purchase hoisin. Next up, we have probably my favorite category, which is bouillon. Over the years, I have used a lot of different bouillons and I found my favorites. So I actually prefer these kind of paste that you keep. I keep mine in the fridge, and then you can just add a little bit to whatever you're making. This is by the brand Better Than Bullion. This is the no chicken base. This is my favorite. This tastes just like chicken broth. I find it to be probably the most versatile in my opinion. This one is a roasted garlic. I just got this one for the first time and it's okay. It is really, really strong. And then this is the seasoned vegetable base. I use this one all the time as well. I believe they have like an onion one that's vegan as well, but look for the vegan symbol because not all of this brand are vegan. They have the regular chicken and beef and all that. So just look for that. It'll tell you if it's vegan. It's got instructions on the top here and on, I think it might have it on the sides as well. Yep. I reuse these jars too. They make great little condiment jars or whatever. So that's those. And then also there's this brand. This one is the not chicken and not beef ones. And these are little bouillon cubes, which you may have probably grown up on, are the little bouillon cubes. I tend to use just half of one of these at a time, which works for me. Yeah, and it gives you some ideas of how to use those. And then this is kind of similar, is why I'm going to include it in this section. This is vegan chickenless seasoning salt. This is from Trader Joe's. This is a very specific one. I will use this at the end of things if it's not soupy enough to really add some of the bouillon to. If I just need a little bit more of that brothy kind of flavor, I'll add a little bit of this. It's powdered. Yeah, it's just like I said from Trader Joe's, so it's a very specific one. Speaking of Trader Joe's, I'll go ahead and show you some of my favorites. The one they became really popular for was the everything but the bagel seasoning. I don't really like that stuff, I'll just be honest with you. But I do like these. The citrusy garlic one, this is a Cuban style. It's really good. It is really citrusy, and I really like to put this on my avocado that I eat with my potatoes. It's so good. Green Goddess seasoning blend, also fantastic. This is a newer one to me, and I really like it. Find it to be quite all-purpose. I haven't even tried this one yet. I just wanted to show it to you. This is a new one. It's a Georgian seasoning blend that I found. And if you have any ideas for how to use this, please let me know. Yeah, I really want to give it a try. So I have that one. Okay. And then I've got a couple more like sauce things I want to show you, and then we will go over to the spice rack area because I'm not taking all of those with me because there's just so many. Okay, so I like to have mustard, and of course I use ketchup, but I'll be honest, I just buy regular ketchup. It's not super fancy, but this is really good to mix with the ketchup. This is good. I put this in my lentil joes. My husband uses this in dipping sauces. This is a fun condiment that you can add. This is Southwest Hot Mustard. This is the Walmart brand, but a lot of different grocery stores have like their own brand of it. It is pretty spicy, but it's really good as a mix-in. And then of course tahini. Now tahini comes in all different kinds of containers. This is just the one that my local grocery store sells. It's a squeeze bottle. It's relatively small. It's easy to use. I like it. Tahini is very high in calories, so I use this typically in a dressing or sauce, and I only use a little bit at a time. I don't really make much hummus, so I don't really use it for that. But next up, I want to show you the my favorite salt that I use. So I do use just regular sea salt that's iodized for most of my food, but I also like this Celtic sea salt. And this is light gray Celtic salt, and it's actually in a brine, and I'll show you. So you don't want to keep this in like a metal container or anything, but I just keep a little in this kind of little plastic tub here. But it's kind of like wet because of that brine, but it's really good. It's really coarse, and I just sprinkle this over my food sometimes. Also wanted to show you this. This is what we call Tony's, or Tony Chachere's. If you have no idea how to pronounce that, that's how you say it. This is the no salt one. This is a Cajun seasoning or Creole seasoning. This is very popular here where I live. They have a bunch of different versions. I do prefer the original, but I am trying to kind of watch how I get my salt in. So for now, I am just actually using this one, and I find that it works out just fine. So yeah, I really like this one. And then I am going to show you all of my seasonings, but I wanted to show you this particular brand of garlic powder that I've been using. I haven't been using as much garlic powder recently because this one is so concentrated. It is the finest garlic powder I have ever seen or ever used. It is so finely milled. It is literally like dust. It's not like most garlic powders that I've seen. This is literally like straight dust. So I really like this one. I feel like it goes a long way. And I'll show you now. I'm going to show you my vinegars, and then I will show you my spices that I use. So I keep them on this little turntable here in my cabinet. Now I prefer flavored vinegars, but right now I just have some of these regular ones, and that is okay. So this one I just bought from my local health food store, just a regular balsamic. I also keep a red wine vinegar. I use this mostly for dressings and sometimes in my quick pickles. This is just a big jar, and I know you're zoomed in pretty much, you can't see it, but I decant my white vinegar and I just put it in this glass container. So that's just distilled white vinegar. And then from my local place, I get these flavored balsamics, and this one's just the traditional. I usually have in here my herbed one and then a couple of other ones, but this stuff is really good. Here's another example of one. This is a maple balsamic vinegar. This one is really good as well. And then let's see what this one is. Oh, this one is a Sicilian lemon white balsamic. And then this one is I believe this is a bourbon vanilla. Oh, bourbon vanilla fig. I think I might have messed up the audio there. But anyway, I just keep my vinegars on this little turntable. So now let's go ahead and direct our attention to the spice area. Okay, so for my spices, I have them on the side of my fridge. I will link these down below. These are from Amazon. I prefer them to be in perfect rows, but I'm just gonna be honest, this is how it usually looks, not completely perfect. But we are gonna go row by row with what I have, and I'm not gonna go in depth too much in these unless there's one I think you may not know that's not super familiar, and then I'll tell you a little bit about it. So let's start with the top row. So bay leaves, black garlic, that is a Trader Joe's like black garlic granules, cayenne, celery seed, that says Celtic salt, but the Celtic salt I talked about earlier has a brine, and so I ended up putting Tony Chachere's in that, and I just never changed the label. Chili flakes, chili powder, cinnamon, coriander, cream of tartar, that is a thickener, I've had that probably too long, cumin, curry powder, dill seed, dill weed, and fennel seeds. I do have a coffee slash spice grinder I use to grind that fennel seed. Fenugreek seeds, this I use in my Indian cooking. 5-spice, garam masala, garlic powder, powdered ginger, Italian seasoning, methi curry, which is just another form of curry powder, Old Bay seasoning, and I'll show you the container for that, onion powder, oregano, paprika, parsley, peppercorn, poultry seasoning, pumpkin pie spice, rosemary, sage, smoked paprika, thyme, and turmeric. So those are my spices, and these are just like chalk labels, and these spice containers are cheap from Amazon, and I love this so much. It's so easy, out of the way, and yes, I have them alphabetized because that's what I like to do. And any extras I have of spices, I just keep in this basket in the cabinet there. And so I'll show you a couple of the things here. So I want to show you the Old Bay seasoning. Again, this is like a Creole Cajun seasoning. It's usually used for crab boils and things like that, but I use it for a lot of other things. I use it in soups, stews, on potatoes. When I boil my potatoes sometimes, I really like to use this, just as kind of a kick. The smoked paprika I use, I've had for probably way too long.
Yes, it is very out of date. I will throw this away now, but I use the Trader Joe's smoked paprika. I also have this liquid smoke. I've used this once in some baked beans. Yeah, this like never gets used, but it's good for a couple of years. So it's good to have around. And then I just use generic brands of everything else. I buy parsley and dill in big containers because I go through it so fast. And then this is the salt that I use in my salt shakers, iodized sea salt. And I'll show you, I've got a couple of these blank containers. So they just come with these stickers and they come with chalk pen as well. And you can just label them. I'll also show you a couple things that I have that I haven't really used. This is saffron from Trader Joe's. I really want to make a saffron rice with it. I hope this is still good. Again, I haven't used this in a really long time. Yeah, this is good until June of next year. But it's really pretty and I really want to use that. This is from the Tea and Spice Exchange. I got this in St. Augustine, but they have these everywhere. This is the holy guacamole seasoning. And then some white pepper, and I bought it from there as well because white pepper around here for some reason is really expensive, and a lot of Asian dishes call for white pepper, so I just have that in the little baggie that it came in. Realized I forgot a couple things, so I also want to show you this apple cider vinegar. I keep this in the fridge. This one is an organic one. This is good in dressings, sauces. I also keep kimchi. I just buy whatever vegan brand of kimchi I can find because a lot of them have, I think, shrimp or fish in it flavoring. So I just buy a vegan kimchi and always have that. And I also have rice vinegar, but it is in this recycled jar. So I don't have the brand, but I always have rice vinegar on hand. And I'm not including anything sweet in here like maple syrup or agave, but I do have those.
All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.